Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and KD Hudnall. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the ThunderCast. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, you'll notice right away that KD is not with us. He is out, and we have a pinch hitter that we brought in, Jed Horton from Ignite Link. Longtime viewers and listeners of the ThunderCast are going to recognize that face, recognize that name, recognize that business. And Jed, welcome.
Hey, Russ, thanks for having me on. I got some big shoes to fill here, but appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to talking some martial athletics today.
Yeah, and we're going to be all over the place because I'm going to be trying to play KD while you play me, and then I'll play myself while you're playing KD. Huge shoes, like you said, to fill. He always leads with these intros. I never have to worry about it. So we have the links in the description of anything that we're going to be talking about. Thundercast.online, our Twitter feed, Facebook, all that stuff we'll have down here, as well as our sponsors. Speaking of which, we're going to start off real quick with a word from our sponsors, the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Find them at 304carwreck.com. All right, Jed. A lot has gone on. We have been about 9-10 days now since we recorded our last episode. Heck, it might be by the time this goes up, it's almost pushing 2 weeks. This is a busy season. Not a lot of people realize that. If they follow football only, they may think it's a dead period. You're going to see when we get to Around the Herd just everything that has happened over these last couple of weeks. But first, like we always do, we're going to start off with 5 things, and maybe you could tell us who it is that sponsors that wonderful segment that we bring to you every week.
So today, Russ, I really wanted to get my money's worth. So today we're not doing 5 things, but we've got 9 things every herd fan needs to know. This week brought to you by Ignite Link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team. Screwed up my own tagline. Number one, Swim and Dive is named CSCAA Scholar All-American Team for fall of 2023, as they had the highest GPA in Division I with a 3.8.
Could you say that again? The highest GPA in what?
Division I, all of Division I.
The entire Division I, folks. They got
3.8
number one overall. Now, if you think that you're hearing that for the first time, maybe it's because you didn't listen to us last year, but this is the second straight fall that they have finished number 1 overall in Division I. And I just think that is insane to think of and huge for us. We're so proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Russ, there's a word. What does Katie use? What is that called?
Differentiator.
There it is. I'm glad you pronounced it. I struggle.
And it is. You know, we joke about that. It's a running joke here on the show, but it is when students are thinking of coming here, when parents are thinking of bringing their kids here, and they see something like this, they realize it's not just about in the pool, on the track, on the court, on the field. It's about what we do in the classroom. And we bring this up a lot. It's not just this swim and dive. Women's golf has always finished real high. Men's golf finished high. We have a lot of different scholastic achievements that we talk about here in the 5 things. And I mean, it is truly a differentiator.
Well, and that's really what they're in college for, right? I mean, we love martial athletics, right? Huge martial fans. We love watching the athletes perform, but they're there to go to school. Most of them, graduate and go on to work jobs. And so they take that education with them. And so that's really great that not only are they able to do amazingly well at the sports that they're participating in, but also to be able to have that quality education too. And that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I can never say enough about this because they
Mhm.
are here for school first. I myself didn't follow that path. I was here for school and wasn't an athlete and didn't take
Mhm.
school as seriously. So I truly appreciate what they're doing. I mean, we talk about their schedules, the travel that they have to do, and still pulling in 3.8 and finishing the highest. I'm going to say it one last time: the highest
Yeah,
GPA in Division One.
absolutely. Number two, there. I don't know if have you heard of this? Have you heard of her, Abby Herring? That name sounds familiar.
Yeah,
But
we've mentioned her once or twice
have
on
you
here.
mentioned her? I feel like she's even been on the show. Maybe I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure. But Abby Herring obliterates the 5K indoor record. Okay, get this. She breaks the meet and track record by more than 20 seconds in a
mhm.
5K. 20
Yeah,
seconds. Breaks the school record by more than a minute
more than a
on a
minute
five on in a
on a
5K.
5K.
The new record stands at 16 minutes, 21 seconds. She was named SBC Women's Track Athlete of the Week. We might need to call her Athlete of the Year at this point, but that's her second of this year.
Yeah, and I mean it's a running joke when we had her on the show. I think there were 26 different records that she owned at Marshall, and a lot of them were breaking her previous record.
Right.
And of that, she also owns the record for most records and the record for breaking her own record the most times. Just insane, the records that she holds. But beating in a 5K that's 3.1 miles, she shaved off a full minute plus from the old record. A minute plus in 3.1 miles. It's crazy.
That's just a crazy time too. I was looking at that. I've been trying to get back to the gym personally, and
Hmm.
yeah, you start with the treadmill, at least for me, and I can tell you that I cannot run a 5K in. She would have lapped me. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I think I've said this before, but I think that I have probably ran a 5K cumulatively in my life. I think if you add it all up, it might come to
Once.
3.1 miles. Yeah. But no, I mean, we cannot say enough about Abby Herring.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently said to someone on Twitter when they were talking about Abby, I said, that is the single name that has been mentioned the most on Five Things, which we lead every single week. That's how
Mhm.
we lead our episodes. And she has been mentioned more times than any other athlete.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't imagine that she does not immediately go in the Hall of Fame once she's eligible
Mhm.
for Marshall.
Yeah.
Just insane stats.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, Russ. She should. She is a phenomenal athlete, and I mean, how many other athletes have broken as many records as she has? I mean, she's
I
has to be an all-time top martial athlete,
Yeah,
up there in
yeah,
the very top. So,
yeah, and local-ish, right here from
mhm,
Parkersburg, West Virginia, and everything. If you have not seen her interview on the show, seek that out.
mhm,
We'll probably break that up and post that again at the end of her career, and maybe try to have her on a second time.
mhm,
But just an awesome individual,
mhm,
awesome representative of
mhm,
Marshall, and just obviously awesome on the track, right?
mhm. So number three, moving on, somebody else breaking record. Kylie Maston breaks her own school record for the 800 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Wait, is that right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah,
Ten
yeah, two
minutes and
minutes.
2 minutes and 10 seconds and
Yeah,
61 milliseconds. There we go. I
yeah.
don't know how to read a clock.
I
Uh,
just say point 0.61 at the
0.61.
end. Yeah,
Then Ronnie Saunders broke the meet record in the mile with a time of 4 minutes and 7 seconds, which is extremely fast.
yeah. All of these came at the Marshall Invitational. We're going to talk about in Around the Herd to have all those results. But Kylie Maston, KD has nicknamed her Big Time Kylie Maston. He said he predicted, we're talking about over unders at this Marshall University of school records that would fall. He said, I'm guessing we'll have two. And Abby did the first, and then not long after we got Kylie Maston breaking her own school record, which again, she is usually breaking records and breaking her own and just improving on it. What a career she is turning out as well.
Yep, absolutely.
And Ronnie Saunders, he broke the meet record in the mile. This was the Marshall Invitational, but it wasn't the track record. It wasn't the school record, but he broke the meet record. So the Marshall Invitational record for that event. And 4 minutes, 7 seconds. I'm sure a lot of people listening can remember Roger Bannister years and years, decades ago, was the first person to break a 4 minute mile. And I know, that's been broken many, many times since, but we're talking about someone now getting around 4 minutes here. And it's impressive as hell too, right?
Yeah, right in our backyard too.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, Moving on to number 4, Grace Kelsheimer qualifies for the NCAA diving zones in the 3-meter dive.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is she will now participate in the 1-meter and the 3-meter NCAA zones events.
Yeah, so earlier she already qualified for that 1 meter dive. We talked about it on the show before, but now in the 3 meters, so she's going to be there at the NCAA diving zones. We'll have more information when that gets close. We'll talk about it here on the show leading up to that. That's just huge. Anytime you're qualifying as an athlete in these Olympic sports for a regional, final, a quarterfinal, any of that stuff, the NCAA diving zones really big. Grace has been tearing it up on all the dives that she's done. We mentioned her on here quite often, winning first, coming in second in these meets and everything. But she's really putting on a show now. 2 different events that she'll be at the NCAA zones. That's also huge.
Very big. Moving on to number 5, and this includes more than one school, but Mickey Matthews, inducted into the JMU Athletics Hall of Fame.
Mickey Matthews had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times since we started this show. Once we interviewed him, you were there with me over there. We interviewed the 92 National Championship reunion attendees, and Mickey was the defensive coordinator back then. So he made an appearance. We got to talk to him. Great guy. Also ran into him. His stomping grounds now, he's retired and playing as much golf as he can down at Myrtle Beach. So the bowl game last year that we played at Coastal's stadium, I talked to him there at the tailgate before. I know that the JMU squad that we talked to, the fans, they talk about Mickey. I mean, he got their first ever national championship. So, they kind of put them on the map there. He was their head coach. He left here to go there, kind of gave us a little bit of a bond and everything. But they talk about him. I know that we do as well, but they talk about him a lot. So I know that it meant a lot to him. He talked to me about his time that he spent there at JMU. Huge honor, and we know what kind of impact he had here during those early 90s teams. That he was here for a few years on Don and staff, and just set the groundwork for what we carried over into the MAC era and all that.
Oh yeah, and congratulations to him. I believe very well deserved. Number 6, Ethan Driscoll and Rasheen Ali both were invited to the NFL Combine.
Huge, because how often is it that we have somebody here that we say, well, he'll play on Sundays or whatever, but they still never get that NFL Combine invite? It's rare to get one, and we got 2. So huge. Driscoll and Ali both went to the Senior Bowl, made impacts there. Ali, of course, got hurt in practice after making his impact there. So obviously going to be limited for whatever he does get to participate in the Combine, but just being invited, if he goes there, does interviews with teams, all the stuff that he does, that he doesn't have to be physical with his surgery from his biceps tendon rupturing. I hope that he gets to go there, and I hope he gets to talk to teams. I hope he gets to show them and talk to them, show them what he's about. If there is anything, I have no idea. I haven't spoken to anybody. If there is anything physically he could do, I know that he can't do anything with his arm. I'm not trying to be cute about this, but I just don't know what they could have him do. If there's any, if they do, hey, do some leg presses, hey, do some, whatever. I just don't know.
Right. At least he was able to produce some highlights from
Yeah.
the Senior Bowl.
Right.
Some of those were trending. So
as they should have been, right?
As they should have been. Yeah. So there were some. At least he was able to put some pretty good things on film, and now he has some time to heal up. But getting that invite for both him and Ethan Driscoll's, I mean, that's awesome. We love to see it. Pro herd, right? We love to see our guys be able to participate and go to the next level and represent Marshall in the NFL.
Yeah, both highly deserving. Driscoll's got those stats for his height and weight, and he put on a good performance there at the Senior Bowl and everything. Turned some heads with his strength and size and leverage and all that. Ali, we know he's an all-timer here for the times that he was here. What he did on the field was incredible. Great to see both of them there, and anytime that it does this, I like to say that it elevates Marshall to everybody, because anyone that's watching the combine and they talk about them, people equate, hey, you can go to Marshall and you can go to the NFL combine.
Yep.
So just all this stuff helps recruiting.
Oh, absolutely. All right, moving on to number 7, we have a name. It's the Tri-State Coalcats. So what do you think about that, Russ?
All right. So I am going to say that I plan to go to as many games as I can. I'm going to be there to support them. I'm going to buy gear. I was disappointed in the name, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not gonna be the guy that bitches about it every time they play or keep bringing it up. I mean, moving forward, it is what it is. They have a name. I really did not like Cole being in the name, because I feel like that it's just kind of, that's what everything is in West Virginia, that someone says, let's put Cole in the title. But I am super pumped for this team.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't really care what they're called. I'm going to buy the merchandise. I'm going to go to the games. I had, because as a season ticket holder for Marshall baseball, you got the opportunity to buy for season seats for the Coalcats before the name drop. I did not do that yet, because I'm still trying to see how many am I getting. Am I getting enough for the family to go? We're going to be gone on vacation for probably, I looked it up on the schedule, maybe 8 of the games. So that's going to put like a third of the season we won't be there. So I'm still trying to weigh out what I'm going to do. But I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy it. But for one time, I'm going to say I was disappointed in the Coalcats name. We had kind of thought that it would be something like Booger Cats, that would be one of those zany minor league things that would, merchandise flies off the shelf just because of its name. Also, the tie-in with that's what, in an alternate universe we could have ended up with as our name here at Marshall. I can't imagine that wouldn't have been changed over the years, but green, white, black, a little bit of gray in the logo there. Excellent color combination. Reminds you of Marshall, ties it in there. Huge, absolutely huge for our region. And for anyone that's saying it ought to be Huntington, it ought to be Huntington. You don't want to just focus on Huntington. You want to draw in people from Barbersville, Proctorville, Canova, Wayne, all the Chesapeake, South Point, Ironton, as far as Portsmouth coming down this way, everything over in Ashland, Grayson, down to Louisa, Tri-State. And maybe it could have been something to do with the river, and the rails and stuff like that in the name. It ended up Cole. I'm going to say it the one time here on the show. After that, I'm going to move on. But I will not say anything bad about it not being Huntington. I think it should be Tri-State. because yes, the field is located here, but our fans that are going to follow this, they're not going to be just from Huntington. So
Right.
I think that's the right move.
No, I absolutely, I can't disagree with you on that either. It's, you draw, because it's, I've talked about this before with other people. It's just our area is, whether you live on one side of the river or the other side of the river, it's it's the same area, right?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
tri-state area. Most people have this, similar interests, who work similar jobs, have some, similar tastes and interests, and
Mm-hmm.
shop at the same place, go to schools.
Yeah.
It's the area transcends just Huntington. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't live in city limits, I mean, you're still part of the area. No, I agree. I really like that, and I'm glad we have something. I mean, don't be wrong. Love Marshall athletics. Glad that Marshall's going to have the baseball team there, but also having some outside interest come in.
Yeah.
To have that alternative for time with take your kids and spend an evening out with the family. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's something to do here in the summer, right? I mean, and I love baseball. I talk about it all the time, being a huge Reds fan, and then kind of how they alienated with the ownership saying, well, where are you going to go? When someone said that they might move the team, and leaves a little bit of, well, here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go right here, 5 minutes from my house, and I'm going to watch
Yep.
a minor league team that is loosely tied to the university that I love so much,
Yeah.
playing on the university's field. So I cannot wait for June the 4th, opening day for that. You can get tickets. You can go on their website. I've got that website up. Give me just a second here. And
While you're
if you
pulling
go,
that up, oh, go ahead,
yeah,
Russ.
I was just going to say, you go over to Herd Zone. They've got an article up, and it's going to list. It's got Tri-State Coldcats website. You can find that at appyleague.com/tri-state. But they also have links here for Coldcats merchandise. That's on mountainmindful.com. You can get tickets. The schedule is out over there. And then it even has the Tri-State Coldcats branding guide. All of those are links at the top of the article over on Herd Zone. So go to herdzone.com. You'll see the announcement. You'll see the logo and the name in the article. And then when you click on that, it's got those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links with all that information right at the top of the article.
Good deal. One last thing I wanted to mention before we move on to the number 8 was they've announced the for the Coldcats, Tommy Gregg is going to be the manager, and Solomon
Yep.
Torres is the pitching coach. So,
yep. I got another little thing too. A friend of mine, we were discussing this earlier today. Today is when they named and released the logo for the team. I didn't catch it right away, but one of the alternate logos is a paw for the cat, and the 4 pads for the fingers or whatever you would want to call it has a TSCC for the pads. So that's Tri-State Coldcats. And I thought that was pretty cool to have that in there. And if you look at it, the paw that the foot pad, the main pad of the foot underneath those 4 pads up top kind of looks like a mountain, but the whole paw kind of looks like a mountain. And I saw this. I don't know if anybody else did. I don't know if I'm reading into it, but right on the like the scruff of the neck on the logo of the cat and at the base of the paw, it looks like an M right there. So I don't know if that was thrown in to kind of like subtly tie it to Marshall, but you got green, white, black. You got what looks like an M there. I think they did really well with the logo and everything. I was just kind of real stuck up on the Coldcats name.
yeah. So close.
Yeah,
Had
so
everything
close.
but the Coldcats.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to number 8. Football is a couple of new analysts. Joe Denny is come on board for the tight ends, and Thuron 8 as an offensive analyst.
Yeah, and we're hoping that we say that second name correctly. We've never heard it out loud. I'm sure here sometime soon we're going to hear that in a press release, a press conference. I mean, something
Mhm.
like that where he'll be named. We'll be able to hear that, hear coaches talk about him. But we moved up a couple of analysts to position groups and redid the coaching staff, so we had these openings here, and always good to get these new players in. H was at Tennessee State as their offensive coordinator under Eddie George. So I know that he has, if you look up these guys, they've got a good pedigree from where they've been. Um, Always bringing in someone, even just as an analyst, and he was an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Mhm.
I think that's a really good move.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I can't wait to see. We got a new look offense and scheme that's going to be coming in, and we've got new analysts and coaches here. It's just a good fun time to have a kind of a reset for the offense. New players, I forgot to mention that reset for the offense to see what they can do.
Yeah. And it's exciting, exciting. There's definitely some changes. We've seen shifts. We've seen the recruiting. There's been a lot of things happening in this offseason. Speaking of number 9, last and final thing, the spring practice schedule has been released for football, and we might be able to see maybe some of this new offensive scheme on the spring game,
Mm-hmm.
which is set for April 20th.
Yeah, so let's talk about, I mean, the entire thing, the practices and stuff and the news that'll come out of those practices. That's always huge when that schedule is announced. But the date of April the 20th, we have known about this for a while. It's, well, now, since the last show, it's almost been 2 weeks, but we've known about that date, confirmed that date because we wanted to do something big for the spring game, just like we did last year. And let's talk about it a little bit because you're going to be there.
Mhm.
I'm going to be there. Katie's going to be there. And we are going to have a tailgate bigger and better than we did last year. And then the next day, we're going to be over at the softball field like we were last year. And we're going to do that bigger and better because baseball has a game that day as well. So
Mhm.
we're going to have softball and baseball both tailgating over there before their respective games. That means anyone coming to the green and white game for football on Friday, April the 20th, can stop by our tailgate. We'll have free food there. It's going to be um, done by the Kentucky Mash Boys and that entire crew that comes down
Mhm.
here like they did last year and a couple of tailgates and just have their custom smokers that they're towing down here, and they're going to be cooking all night long for everyone's enjoyment, totally free because of landscaping by Hillcrest, which we're going to talk about a lot more as that gets close. And then the very next day, we're going to have all that again for softball and baseball over at the softball parking lot. Again, courtesy of landscaping by Hillcrest.
So I'm looking forward to that because last year, we did the tailgate, got to participate, watch the spring game.
Mm-hmm.
We had the floods that came through and the crazy
Yeah.
winds and
Yeah.
all that craziness. And unfortunately, that next day, I was unable to participate in the softball tailgate because I was out of
Yeah.
town. I was
Yeah.
on a trip, so I wasn't
Yeah.
able to be there for that. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
football, then softball, then baseball. I mean, your weekend's planned, my weekend's planned. I think everybody's weekend should be planned. Set it now in your calendars. The weekend of the April 20th. There's no other place we'd rather be, right?
Yeah, that's right. Softball's got a game at noon. Baseball's got a game at 1. So we're going to be out there early. Everybody before those games will get to come over and tailgate with us. The ThunderCast and Kentucky Mash Boys. It just every time we get together, the food is amazing. Those guys, we cannot talk good enough about them and their food. They come down here and donate their time. I mean, driving in for hours to get here because they're not local. They come in from around the Cincinnati area and around the Columbus area, drive in for this event. And they spend their entire weekends here, nights cooking, all day cooking and everything, just for our fans. So huge shout out to them.
Yeah.
And the food does not get any better than when they throw down on some food on the smoker.
It does not. I highly recommend, and those guys don't sleep. They're rotating, taking turns, waking up every few hours to make sure that food is ready for prime time the next day. It's legit.
Having a tornado come through and rip a flagpole
Right.
off and hit them in the head.
Yeah.
They had just about everything happen to them. But yeah.
Well, Russ, after that wraps up that wraps all the 9 things this week, brought to us by Ignite Link.
And Jed, thank you. Since you're in here, you make this segment happen for us all the time, sponsoring this segment. I'm going to take a quick little break to shine on your company here while you're here, and take just a minute to tell us that you are a herd fan. You are local here in Huntington. They can find you on the 9th Street Plaza, right in downtown. You've made it easy for everybody to get you. They can email you directly. It's jed@ignite.link. Your website is ignite.link. It is just so easy to get a hold of someone over there. But Jed provides not only the stuff that he says, hey, this is not what I do, but he does all the stuff for us for ThunderCast Live and all of our technology stuff, helps us host ThunderCast online, which we have seen a lot of growth with our articles and other things that we have on there, and it's just the tip of the iceberg on that. But Jed and his team do IT work, so you don't have to have an IT team. They are your IT team. They can save you a lot of money, and more than anything, they can give you very good service. Jed, just take 1 minute or something to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Yeah, as Russ said, Ignite.link, all of our Facebook, Twitter handle, everything's Ignite Link, and website Ignite.link, Jet at Ignite.link. So real easy to get a hold of us. We specialize in, with your small, medium business, managing the entire IT infrastructure, your cybersecurity, planning, budgeting, all the above as it concerns your IT. We do that. Real quick, if you notice, I'm wearing a different little thing today. This is Layer 1. This is our part of the Ignite Link family, part of our it's a new division that we have where we do all structured cabling now. So do you need physical setup? So Cat 6, fiber, connecting your facilities, all that, the security cameras, any of that thing that's low voltage. We do that now. Under the Layer banner. But on the Ignite Link side, cybersecurity and IT management. So we just one-stop shop for your needs. Come in or have us come in. We'll talk to you. Everything we do is custom. We prepare a plan just for you and your business.
Yeah, Layer 1, you can go in and set somebody up on a new construction, existing facility. You can do all their cabling. And then if something goes sideways, you can go in and do maintenance on that. Or if they already have it set up, and how many times have you seen photos of you go in where the servers are and, it's just, a mangled mess of stuff. You guys can go in and do it better, right?
Yep.
You can go in and...
we can do, we do rack cleanups, rack installations, and setup. So especially if you're doing a retrofit or even a new build, we set it up from start to finish. We can help you plan it, blueprint it, everything. So
awesome.
Really excited about being able to talk about on the opposite side here, but talk about Layer 1 and what it does. But it's part of the Ignite Link family, and that's our effort for everything that we bring on. We want to be excellent at it. We want to do, we want to be great, and we want to be what you need for your business. So if you need the structured cabling side, or whether it's the cybersecurity side, or somewhere in between, let us know. Conversation's always free. So
yeah, and I can't say enough about what you do for us for ThunderCast Live and the ThunderCast online and sponsorship here on the show and Inside the Thunder, and you just allow Marshall fans to get so much information by being a sponsor, being involved, being a strategic partner, as KD has always told everybody of the ThunderCast, and we appreciate it. But
I need somewhere to get my herd news, guys. So you guys can't. No, but Go ahead.
Let's
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it around. Let's take it around the herd.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with track and field. Let's talk about Caden Bowen. He's a new commitment to track and field.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about the Marshall Invitational?
Yeah, I can. Just want to say, as always, with Caden Bowen or any new commit, when we hear um, that there is a commit, there's an announcement. They never say if it's going to be for track, it's going to be for field, what events that they do, if they run or whatever. We mean no disrespect. There's just not as much info out there as like when you see a recruiting site announce that there's a football commit or a basketball commit. So, welcome to the herd, Caden Bowen. We look forward to everything that you plan to be doing here. And just looking at his photo and his build and everything, looks like he's going to be on the track side. I just don't know if it's going to be sprinting or hurdles or doing some sort of distance running. All right, so the Marshall Invitational. We talked about Abby Herring breaking the school record on that happened on day one. Uh, let's say some other first place things here. By the way, Abby Herring, we said it was a new meet, school, and track record. Asha Bora finished second in that 5K, 18 minutes, 12 seconds. So think back what Jed said 16 minutes, 21 seconds, knocking on the door of 2 full minutes before our second place from Marshall finished. That's just flat out getting it done.
Yeah.
All right. So Rebecca Merritt finished first in the weight throw. She had 18.7 meters. Madia McCullough finished second in that, 17 minutes 20 or 17.25 meters. Josie Moore finished third, 16.91 meters. So they got first, second, and third from Marshall. Diana Goodman continues to do what she does in the pole vault. She took first place, 3.85 meters. Let's see here. We also had a couple of second places here. Quay Harrison in the men's high jump, 1.9 meters. And then the distance medley relay, women's team of Tori Dotson, Sophia Newsom, Taylor Spencer, and Hannah Toth finished second on that. That was just day one. Day two, we had even more dominance. So we talked already about Kylie Maston and what she did, and we talked about what Ronnie Saunders did. So let's do these other ones here. Picked up second place John Purvis in the weight throw, but he got first place in the shot put, 15.96 meters. We ended up Rebecca Merritt finished second in the shot put. Long jump, women's Laura Check finished first, 5.71 meters. And we had first place Ronnie Saunders in the mile. First place Isaiah Harper in the 400 meters, 48.99 seconds. And first place in that same event for the women, Nia Harrison. 60-meter hurdle finals, Carson Casto got first place. Tyra Thomas still undefeated in this event on the season. I'm going to say that again. Still undefeated on the season in that event. First place, 8.43 meters, just off the men's mark. Ben Parker in the 800 meters, he was our top finisher for that. He got eighth place. But in that event for the women, Kylie Maston, we talked about it already, new school record. Also had first place in the men's 1K for Kazuma Bowring, 2 minutes 32.68 seconds. And we picked up a first place in the 4x400 for the men. Team A, Ethan Bowens, Isaiah Harper, Joshua Roush, Isaiah Valentine. Lots of first place, second place finishes. Just dominated the Marshall Invitational. Hats off to everybody there, but several school records and more personal records, and you always like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to see all those names. That means
Yeah.
Marshall's competing extremely well. The athletes there are competing extremely well. And coming up next week, Russ, the Sun Belt Indoor Championships are going to be Monday and Tuesday, which is the 19th and the 20th. So, and that is going to be on ESPN Plus. So if you have the chance, log in, check it out, and
Yep.
watch our teams watch Marshall and our guys and girls compete.
Yeah, so we just talked about, all these records and personal bests and everything. That's always a great time to do that right before you're going into your conference championship. So we look to see some gold medals coming home. Last year, we had Macy Majoy brought home the first ever Sun Belt medal trophy, whatever, for Marshall University. So that Sun Belt era got kicked off due to track and field. So we're looking forward to expanding on that and seeing what our athletes can bring home.
Absolutely. So we did pick up some commits on football. Moving over to football,
Okay.
picked up a couple commits, all from the class of 2024. We've got a quarterback, Aiden Karsh, who is 6'3", 230 pounds, and he is from Miami Gardens, Florida.
Say that height and weight for everybody again
Uh, as a quarter,
as a junior quarterback
yeah, he's
right now.
6'3", 230 pounds. Yeah,
Yeah, 6'3", 230 going into his senior season at quarterback.
it means he's not done growing yet, more than likely.
Yeah.
We did pick up a cornerback, Galijah Theodore. He is a 6'2", 165, 165 pounds. He's from Miami, Florida. Then we picked up an offensive line commit, same class, 2024, Treaton Henry, who is 6'6", 315 pounds.
Yeah.
Going into his senior year, and he is from Indian Trail, North Carolina. And then finally, this name will probably be familiar to some people. Quarterback Chase Massey, 6'2", 170 pounds, and he is from Winfield. He is committed as a quarterback.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know. He might just be from right down the road.
Well, not just that, but if I'm not mistaken, that is Marshall football star Chris Massey's son.
That's
So
right. Okay, yeah, that didn't put two and two
I
together there.
I think, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's the first time I've ever been wrong on this
Right.
show, but he's definitely, to my knowledge, related to Marshall great Chris Massey.
Send all complaints to at Russ Living Good.
At Russ Living Good, hit me
Russ
up. No, I want to comment. I commented on the size there for the first quarterback, 6'3", 230, and he looks it. And that is just a guy that's going to be hard to bring down. We've seen that in college a lot. And you don't have to be a burner when you just need to pick up 3 or 4 yards and you snap it to your quarterback and you got somebody blocking for him and he just takes it right up the gut. But Galijah Theodore, 6'2" as a cornerback, and we talk about this on the show all the time.
Yeah.
When you've got 5'9", 5'10" cornerbacks going up against 6'2" wide receivers, they're at a disadvantage already. And then you've got the longer arms, usually for the taller guys. They have a big advantage going over the top. Well, now you're seeing 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" in our defensive backfield. And now we're bringing in, here's another one, 6'2", 165. He's got some room to grow on that frame and everything. Very fast kid from looking at his times and things. But that height is something that, you can take someone that's fast, that's great at coverage and all that stuff, and they're 5'9". They can still get burned, right?
Yeah.
They can get it on jump balls. They can just have it thrown over top of them. But this guy, 6'2", we talk about bringing in meat on that offensive line. How about 6'6", 315 going into your senior year? That's already a great size at college.
Yeah.
And we talk about when they get here and they get into the college weight room, he may stay 6'6", 315, but he could drop fat pounds and bring in muscle pounds and stay at that same 6'6", or he may go up to 6'6", 330, or he may get down to 308, but he's got a lot more muscle than he does right now.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to get when you get somebody in here and get them in the nutritional program that we have and the weight room that we have. But that size plays. So we got some good size all across the board from these 4 pickups, and that's something I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see these high school commits along with, these commits that we're getting out of the portal,
Yep.
because the portal commits are great, but you also need kids that you can bring in, develop. And, usually sometimes by the end of that first year, you may have a kid, jumping in and playing as well. Just depends. So you got a lot to pull from. So that's good to see.
Yep.
Going to jump over to men's soccer. We got a commit over there. Max Mankey. Forgive me if I pronounce the last name wrong. He is a defender, and he is from Woodstock, Connecticut.
Played at Woodstock Academy is where he played. And again, they just announced they don't even have anywhere that I looked didn't have a height and weight for him. That's not as important in soccer as it is for football or basketball. So it wasn't listed. But the reload continues, as we always say on here, and we have gotten, just like in football, we've gotten portal transfers that have played at a high level. And here's someone that we're bringing in from the high school ranks as well. Always love to see it. Chris Grassi has done a phenomenal job with this roster over the years. If there's anyone that I trust to bring in somebody that is good for soccer, it's got to be Chris Grassi. So if he's bringing him in, I like the pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, again, this spring, we're going to be playing in that off season again.
Yeah,
the
spring league.
The spring league,
Yep.
past couple years, like we've done the past couple years. So
yeah,
good chance to kind of see these new players. How's this? It's a different team from last year. How's this new team going to meld, and how are they going to play? Obviously, that style is probably going to be very similar to what we've seen in the past. But it'll be pretty exciting, and that's coming up, I believe, just next month, Russ.
Yep, and those are usually you get those in Columbus, Louisville, right around here for the region that we're in. That spring league, you're close enough to see several of these games.
According to Herd Zone, it looks like we've got a couple at home.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the away games as well.
The away games, a couple at home, and then looks like Xavier, Cincinnati. We got Indianapolis playing Butler. And then we play in the Crew Stadium, it looks like.
Columbus Crew.
Which would be in the middle of April. So all regional, reasonable drives. And, for a team that was number one in the country for a long time, I think that's an easy decision.
And not just an easy drive for us, but some people live right close to these stadiums and everything. Marshall fans that live in Louisville or Cincinnati or Columbus and Indiana, and have a good opportunity to see these games and see the Herd on the road.
Absolutely.
What do we got next?
Well, we're going to go over to volleyball. We've got summer camps coming up in July. And we did get a commitment, but I don't think we've got a name, but we did pick up a commitment for that.
Yeah, so I saw that as well. And here's that Marshall Volleyball, the Save the Date announcement came out this past week. July the 7th through the 8th is the Little Herd volleyball camp. And my oldest daughter has gotten to go to that the last couple of years. And man, is it fun to watch the kids play. It doesn't have to just be, it's not just girls. They have guys at this as well. But to see the interaction with the Marshall volleyball players and teaching these young students and everything that get to go to this, really, really cool. But that's not all they have. They've got a passer and a server clinic on July the 12th, all skills on the 13th and the 14th, hitter and setter clinic on July the 19th. The elite camp is July 20th and 21st, and the team camp is 26th and 27th of that month. Camps are open to any and all entrants, limited only by age, grade, and gender.
Okay.
So
very cool.
I think on the little herd they let anybody play, and more like the elite camp and team camps I think is female only. But you can check all that out on Herd Zone if you got any questions signing your kids up.
Good deal. Well, swim and dive. The SBC championship they're going on right now. 14th through the 17th. They are televised on ESPN Plus, and you can look at their schedules on herdzone.com, or for us, I don't know if you have those in front of you.
I don't have the schedule up. I know
Okay.
they're playing right now. We're recording. It's Thursday evening as we record this, and they're still ongoing. But let's talk about what they did yesterday on day one of this. They won two of the first three events. They had three events yesterday, and they won two of them. Led by the 800 freestyle relay team of Molly Warner, Madeline Hart, Audrey West, and Esther LeBon, becoming the first conference championship winning relay team in program history. Now, this is one of the things that I could have put up here on the five things because that's massive. But there's a lot to talk about here, and this event is still going on. So I just want to, we may talk about this again next week on one of the five things. But the first time ever for a relay team in program history, I'm going to say it again, 800-meter freestyle relay, Warner, Hart, West, and LeBon. The day kicked off with the 200-meter medley relay. Maya McBride, Paige Banton, and Madeline Hart, and Clava Katayama, and they got the second fastest in the event in program history. Team diving, Grace Kelsheimer, Elena Laster, Larissa Monksgard defended its title from the 2023 Missouri Valley Conference Championship with a score of 232.9, besting second place Georgia Southern by over 2 points. So they won that. So again, second in the 200 meter medley relay, but that was the second fastest time ever. If I got that right, second fastest in program history, and then first place in team diving and first place for the first time ever in the freestyle relay. Huge way to open this up. I can't wait to see what they're doing right now so we can talk about that next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you guys will talk about it next week once that closes out. So you still have time to watch it. You got it tonight, and you have you says it's through the 17th, so it's going on for the next few days.
Yeah.
So if you can, check it out on ESPN Plus. And that's, it's the championship. So if you have time, tune in. Women's golf. So the Atlantic Invitational, Emily McClatchy finishes tied for first.
Yeah, huge way to open this season. They don't have anything going on the rest of this week or early next week. She is from Florida, Emily McClatchy, and had a final round 70 to finish tied atop the leaderboard, taking home the championship as co-champion there. Let's just talk a little bit about this. In addition to McClatchy's round on Tuesday, Marshall got a 1 under 70 from Olivia Cochan, with the sophomore netting 15 pars to go with 2 birdies and 1 bogey in a clean round to close the tournament. McClatchy, what she had done, finished with 5 birdies on the day, led the field in the category with 13 in the 3-round event. No other competitor had more than 9. I mean, just flat out getting it done. She was the only golfer in the field to average below par on par 4 holes. They got strong performances also from Hannah Shrout, Madison Borders. They improved their scores from Monday's rounds by at least 5 strokes to finish with a 74 and a 76 respectively. So getting a lot better as the game went on. But there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different schools here, and 40 different golfers, and McClatchy finishes tied, as we said, number one. And by the way, didn't even talk about it yet. Casey McIlvaine finished tied for fourth. So huge day for women's golf. Coach Brooke Burkhammer has to be happy with the way they started their season. And if that's a sign of things to come, that's going to be some high rankings that we're going to see in the Sun Belt Conference.
Watch out.
Yeah.
That's I don't know about you, Russ. I only play golf in scrambles. There's good reason for that.
I only play at putt. I'm not even good at that.
After I've played at scrambles, I should probably stick to putt as well. We're gonna move over to tennis, laying the smackdown on Louisville and Furman. Beat Louisville 6-1 on Friday, and then on Sunday played Furman, beating them 5-2.
Yeah, so their winning streak is now at 5. They've won 5 different meets in a row, and they were doing even more, if you remember from what we talked on this show. They had a couple of wins going in, but they ran into the buzzsaw that is Virginia, who had like 3 of the top 90 or something like that in singles competition that we had to face. But something I saw earlier today, I think that it had us as 9th. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like the non-Power 5 tennis teams or whatever. And we were, so, I guess they called it mid-major or whatever, but we were ranked 9th out of that, out of their top 25 that they had. Making some noise. It's the same people dominating. We're dominating in doubles, we're dominating in singles, just tearing it up. Old Dominion is higher than us in the Sun Belt Conference. So is Georgia Southern, according to these mid-major rankings. So we have an opportunity to go up against them and really, really make a play for the conference championship.
Yeah, definitely.
Where are they going this week? Going up to Illinois?
Yeah, they're going to Illinois this weekend. They're going to be against Northwestern and Illinois State on Saturday, and then Illinois on Sunday.
Yep. So big road trip for them. They'll be there tomorrow and Saturday. If they win those 3, that's going to be 8 in a row, and I would love to see where that's going to place them in the pecking order of ranked versus our Sun Belt Conference opponents, and also against everybody in the nation.
Absolutely.
All right. Where are we going next?
We're going to baseball. Season opener at College of Charleston on Friday at 4 p.m.
Yep.
And then Saturday at 2 p.m. and then Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yep. So we got an opportunity to come in the first season ever, even though we're not starting at home. That's a good thing. It allows us to continue to fine-tune that Jack Cook field over there, get the scoreboard up, which is going up right now for the baseball stadium. Should be finalized very, very soon. Just putting the final touches on what they've been doing, getting it ready for opening day, which will be March 1st. But in the meantime, this gives us an opportunity to pick up 2 or 3 wins down at the College of Charleston in a little bit better weather than it is up here in the north. And can't wait to see it. I'm hoping to maybe listen to some of the game. I'll be traveling tomorrow evening. I'm going down to Tennessee, but that'll be a long drive that maybe I can listen to a little bit of it in an earbud or something as a drive.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't already, and I'm sure you have, there is a article at ThunderCast.online where, Russ, you did the walkthrough of the new baseball facility, the indoor practice for both softball and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not checked that out already, do so. I highly recommend it. It's very impressive what
it's going
over there.
Going to get you pumped up for the season and to go over there. Tickets are on sale now for single games, by the way, for baseball. So head on over to Herd Zone for that. Call the ticket office or stop in the ticket office, whatever you want to do. But if you want to get single game tickets now, you can.
All right, we're going to take it over to softball. Softball lost to number 12, Arkansas 10-3, and FAU 10-6 on Thursday. But they did beat Michigan State 1-0. And then lost to Penn State 5-2 on Friday. Then they beat Michigan State 10-1 on Saturday. And then they will be in Greenville, North Carolina this weekend for 5 games. So I've got Fairfield Friday at 11 a.m., Longwood Friday at 1:30 p.m., Longwood again Saturday at 10 a.m., then East Carolina Saturday at 12:30 p.m., and then Fairfield on Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so let's talk about those first 5 games. Going up against number 12 Arkansas, and last year our RPI was the only thing really that kept us out. Our strength of schedule was low. We racked up a lot of wins, most ever in school history, but we got shut out of the tournament after losing 1-0 at Louisiana on their home field in the championship game. And Coach Zirkle, in her first year, said, "I'm not afraid. I'm going to stack this this schedule. I'm going to take on a bunch of big time teams." And she started off against number 12 Arkansas. In these 5 games, we were either leading or tied or right there in the thick of it, except for a big inning that we gave up here and there. Showed a lot of promise, and we took 2 out of 5, so starting 2 out of 3. Very good against that schedule. Let's talk about Riley Lucas leading the team in average, 467, an OPS of 1.196. No homers, but had 3 doubles in her 7 hits for a team tying lead of 7 RBIs overall. She is slugging .667 and got walked twice, on base percentage of .529. 53% of the time she came up, she was getting on base. She's not all. Kezia Parks hitting .417. Erica Holt .375. Bella Gerlach had 2 different home runs. She's tied for the team lead with 7 RBIs as well. So 14 of our 19 runs have been driven in by those 2, Riley Lucas and Bella Gerlach. Sid Bickle had a home run, hitting .353, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players over 300, and then one other one knocking on the door, Cam Mahalis at .286. Great start in those first 5 games. We got another 5 that give us a good opportunity here. If we can win 3 out of 5, we'll be at 500. I think everybody was going to take that as a win coming up against these teams. But if we do even better than that, we're coming out with a winning record. And I am here for it, because we come in to the weekend after this, which we're going to talk about next week, playing Shonda Stanton down in Arizona. We got 3 players on the team from Arizona. It's going to be a very good trip to go down there, and just all around, getting those players kind of get a hometown game, even though it's just somewhere in the state that they go to, but or came from. And then playing Shonda Stanton, who just came here and spoke at our first pitch banquet for softball, was here for, gosh, I can't remember now. She said 17 years, 18 years, or something like that as our head coach at softball. So this season is shaping up to be really, really fun and exciting before they get their first game later this month at the Dot. So,
yeah, really excited. I mean, softball, as we all know, over the last few years has been a very good, exciting, fun program to watch, and I see this train continuing to roll this year so far. So looking forward to the home opener when they come back home. Moving over to men's basketball, lost to Troy at Troy, 82-66 on Wednesday. It's a rough one. And then they're going to be at App State tonight as we record, within the next few minutes. And then they're going to be at Coastal on Saturday at 2 p.m. And Russ, I don't know if you saw this, but they just announced that this is a little further out in the future, but our game, when we play App State again at home, that's actually going to be aired on ESPN2 or ESPNU. And that's going to be that game's now going to be moved back to 6 o'clock for that.
Yeah, and it's always great to see eyes on our program on a national level. Just about anybody can pick up ESPN2 with the package that they have and everything. I love ESPN Plus. It allows me to watch so many games, and not just basketball, but softball and all the other things. And can't wait to catch up on everything that we can. I'm really looking forward to some of these conference championships that get aired on there.
Mhm.
But nothing beats being on a linear channel, ESPN2,
Yep.
ESPNU, where more eyes can see your program. So
I,
it's
I
going to
thought
be
you
big.
I thought you really liked watching, having to pull up to the gas pump to watch, you know, sport.
Conference USA and Judy. Yeah. So that 82-66 loss,
Yeah.
the least I can say about that, the better.
Yeah.
We did not look good. We were in never of any danger winning that game. Too many missed shots, too many missed rebounds. I'm not crapping on the team because the guys were out there trying, but it wasn't working. Nothing they did worked. And sometimes you have those games, and I mean, we came out against some other people. We couldn't miss. We were making the
Mhm.
extra pass. We were tipping every rebound to either ourselves or our teammates. We were blocking shots down low. We were stealing the ball. We were doing everything we need. Sometimes it works the exact opposite, and it did when we faced Troy. Nothing we were doing was working. They made run after run after run on us, and we were down a lot worse than that, and we came back, but that was just a very tough game to watch.
Yeah, towards the end of that, middle of that second half, yeah, we kind of made that towards the end. We made a bit of a run, but it was too little, too late on
Yeah.
that. But it's just there's so many variables that go into it sometimes. Like I've noticed with this team too. Like anytime you travel to Texas or you travel to Alabama and those kind of things, that definitely has a toll playing away. I mean, it's always harder playing
Yeah.
someone else's home court, and unfortunately, it looked like things were stacked against us in that game. But we got a chance we got a chance tonight and this weekend to play a little bit closer to home, play a conference foe, kind of right the ship and notch a few wins before we go into the conference tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And we need a good bounce back weekend. Hopefully that's what we get tonight and on Saturday.
Last but definitely not least, women's basketball beat Louisiana 74-42 at home on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that was in front of 19 local elementary schools. So
Yeah.
I was working that day, but I actually had it up on ESPN Plus, was able to watch that. That environment looked
Well,
crazy.
so I was working that day too, but I just happened to be talking to Marshall and just happened to be over at the baseball stadium where contractors are over there and, some others downtown. So I went to as much of that game that I could go to, and it was just an absolute blast to be at. Those kids were just going crazy for every steal. If we made a basket, I mean, it was electric to say the least. They were into it the whole time. And I got to be honest, man, I'm going to put a challenge out for somebody to go back and watch that game. It's on ESPN Plus. You can always go in, search Marshall, and bring up the past games. Go watch just a few minutes of the back and forth that we would have and listen to the crowd's reaction and everything. There is zero reason that we should allow kids to be louder than us. Now, I have 3 loud children. Don't get me wrong. I know how loud kids can be, but they were doing chants. They were loud. They were engaged the whole time, and they didn't have to be, right? They could have got there and goofed off and everything. No, they killed it. The halftime performers killed it. Barbersville Elementary came out and did this jump rope routine and this other stuff. It was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. So just all around seeing the kids having such a good time, how well behaved they were, how loud they were, it really, really added to that atmosphere.
That was really cool. And I don't know, have they done something like that before?
Yeah,
Like
they
bringing
have.
that? Okay.
And like today, which we're getting ready to talk about, we played at App, and it was supposed to be, their daytime game. We chose to bring in all these schools and make that atmosphere the way it was. And if you saw any clips or watched the game today, it was almost empty down at App State. So,
I think that was great. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go down there, but watching on TV, it was electric. It was very exciting. I mean, every basket, every made basket was, everyone was going crazy. Even when we started pulling away, and it was becoming a non, it was pretty obvious that we were going to run away with the game, but didn't
yeah,
matter, man. Those kids were just as excited for that basket, at the end of towards the end of the fourth than they were, the first of the second quarter, so it was very cool to see that.
yeah.
As Russ alluded to, we did play at App State. We beat them 87-77. So this women's basketball team continues to roll. And then they're going to be playing at Old Dominion on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, let's talk about that game today. We had to hit a couple of big shots to go ahead right before the fourth quarter, and 7:47 in the fourth. It's 67-64 Marshall, and that's at 7:47 left in the game, 3-point difference, and then at 4 minutes over the next like 4 minutes, we were up 85-68. We just went on our run, man.
Mhm.
21 points. No, it's 18 points to 4. 18-4 run that we went on, or something like that, somewhere around there. I'll do some math later. But we just, I mean, went from at one time, App State was a 65% chance to win, like right before the fourth quarter. And then midway through the fourth quarter, when we were just going on that run, we were at 93%. I mean, just totally changed that game. It's been what we've done just about all season long. We pull away or run away in the fourth quarter, or we take the lead in the fourth quarter and then go from being 10 down to being 10 up. It's just what we do. We don't get tired. We don't give up. We are relentless, as KD has coined, and just another huge game.
I get tired just watching them play.
Yeah, really?
Let alone being out there. I mean, that style, that's the perfect word for it. Relentless. They are
Yeah.
nonstop. They are all gas from the start of the first quarter to the end of the fourth quarter. And it's fun to watch. I mean, I've really have enjoyed watching the basketball team this year.
Today we were 40% from behind the arc, 14 of 35. I don't know if you saw it. It was put out by Marshall's women basketball, their Twitter account. Abby Beeman shot one, I think, from Charlotte over there. I mean,
Yeah.
it was John Elmore-esque. It was a good 5, 6, 7 feet behind the arc that she shot it, almost from App State's logo. But she ended up leading the team, 21 points. Also had 9 rebounds and 6 assists. And then Meredith Mayer came off the bench to get 14. She hit 4 big 3-pointers. We got 13 each from Brianna Campbell and Sydney Scott. Just at one time, they just took off, hitting threes when they needed them, and they just put some distance up. Good thing to see. Aislinn Hayes was back wearing a knee brace. If you remember, she sat out last week's or that earlier in the game that we talked about with the kids being there. She took a bad tumble at the end of the James Madison game, sat out as a precaution of that last game, but she was back. She came off the bench to score 9 in this game. So, full healthy squad. I think there's nobody else in the Sun Belt besides James Madison that can even compare to him right now. This was a really good App State team, and we were crushing them late. They had to come back to lose by 9. And
Yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I was just going to say James Madison in our only loss in the Sun Belt and our only loss since the first 6 games of the season. They just had us in size on that last game, and again, we're down our only true power forward. But they're the only team that I can see right now, unless we just beat ourselves with a bad shooting night and turnovers. I just don't see anybody else playing with us right now in the conference.
No, I agree. And even when they've gone through slumps, I've been able to watch quite a few of their games, and they've gone through some slumps, whether it's a third quarter slump or something like that. They've willed themselves back into a game and, being relentless, playing good defense, getting those turnovers, that they've been getting, forcing all those turnovers that they do, has, because basketball is a game of ebb and flow, right? You're going to have, you're going to go cold, you're going to go hot, and it's mitigating those, getting down by 20, you're getting down by 15, for when you start getting hot again. And they've been able to do that time and time again, be able to, will themselves to victory or steamroll teams.
Yeah. Well, Jed, there was an absolute ton of things to cover, mainly because, it was, 12 days, 10 days, somewhere in there since we had recorded last and had all this info that we had to go over with all the results and everything. It just piled up on us. So we had a little bit longer episode than we had hoped without having a feature on here. But I cannot thank you enough for stepping in for KD. I do want to point out for those of you watching on YouTube, we did not reverse the screens or anything since I was going to be quote unquote playing KD today, doing the lead in and everything. I left myself on the side of the screen that he's normally on. So it's got his Twitter handle underneath my face and my Twitter handle underneath Jed's. But other than that, I think we did okay pinch hitting for the great guy, KD. He's always got us on point on here. And I can't wait till he edits out all of our mistakes and also makes my hair look even better.
Well, that's exactly why you had your handle below me. Any complaints about my production today?
Right down at you, yeah.
At Russ Living Good, send all complaints.
Yeah. Well, Jed, that wraps it up. Do you have any final thoughts before we take it out of here?
The only thing I've got, Russ, is just thank you all for having me on today, and thank you just for everything you guys do with the podcast and ThunderCast Online and everything you do to bring more Marshall athletic news to the masses. Really appreciate what you guys do, and it's honestly honor that you had me on today, and I appreciate it.
It's the least we could do. You're our pinch hitter anytime I'm out and KD's out, and maybe one day both of us will be out and we'll just let you have your own show talking to yourself. But
it might be more technology focused or something. I don't know.
But thank you one more time for stepping in. You did a great job today. And with that, I'm going to say that whether you see us at the Joan, whether you see us at the Cam, or whether you see us all so close to opening day over at the Jack, no matter where you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd.
Go Herd. It's the ThunderCast. We'll see you later.